This presentation is brought to you by Experts for Entrepreneurs. Today's webinar is hosted by Will Hankey of Where Is My Business? The subject is search engine optimization, keywords, and key phrases.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the webinar today on keywords and key phrases. My name is Will Hankey with whereismybusiness.com. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to learn a couple different things. We're going to start out by just kind of an overview of SEO, what it is, and the two main parts involved with it. Then we're going to build a foundation. We're going to go SERPing. We're going to find out what in the world that means. Talk about some keyword tools. Talk about the long tail of search, which is where the money's at. And we're going to learn how to filter some of your keyword results that you do get when you use the tools. And then I'm going to share with you a couple other keyword tricks to help you find some really good nuggets in there. And the reason that we do this is so we can make more money. Everybody likes that. I also wanted to mention that if you are in the St. Louis area, I do have a meetup that I teach every month on a different SEO related topic, everything from keyword research, as we're doing here, to analytics, to using video on your website, and that is at whereismybusiness.com/training. Also, other webinars that I do are there, and I also provide in-person training, again, if you're in the St. Louis area. If you do have a question during the webinar today, feel free to type it into the chat box, usually located on the right-hand side of your screen, and I will do my best to get to them all at the end of the webinar today. So just type it in there as we're going along, and unless you're watching this as a recording, then we'll try to get to them. So let's go ahead and jump right in. There's two main parts of SEO. There's on-site SEO, things that you can do on your website to influence search engines, and then there's things that's called off-site SEO, or things you can do on other people's websites that will actually influence your ranking. Some on-site or on-page SEO things include keywords, which is what we're doing today. Title tags, H1 tags are also known as heading tags, H1, H2, all the way up through H6. Keyword density, or how many times a keyword shows up on your page, determines things. The placement of those keywords, are they all at the beginning, are they all at the end, are they mixed in the middle somewhere? And then the description, which is your meta description, or it's a tag that can be hidden behind the scenes. Now, interestingly enough, all of these things are actually influenced by your keywords that you choose. So when you do choose a keyword, it influences every one of these other items on this page. And we'll get into that a little bit further down. Off-page SEO, these are things you can do on other people's websites. Content, providing content like different things, video, different articles, things of that sort. Social networking, which includes Twitter, Facebook, lots of other ones out there. Articles, writing articles that you can put on other people's websites along with a link back to your site. Bookmarking, sites such as delicious.com, Dig, Reddit. Video, everybody is aware of YouTube. YouTube is actually the second largest search engine right now, just behind Google. Bing and Yahoo are a distant third and fourth. And blogs are things that you can do on other people's blogs, write content for them, provide them with guest postings, articles, things of that sort. All those are different things you can do on other websites. So the foundation of search, though, when you start to build any sort of building, the first thing you have to do is have a solid foundation. So keywords are your solid foundation. If you don't have a keyword strategy, or you don't have keywords in place, then you're basically going to just create a campaign around nothing, which just obviously doesn't make sense. Without keywords, you're not going to get very far. So this is by far the most important and the first step in any sort of online marketing engagement. Now, the thing that we're going to find out today is that everybody's unique. There's a lot of people out there searching for your product or your service, but not everybody's typing in the same thing. So if you're selling blue widgets, not everybody's typing in blue widgets. They may be typing in widgets for sale, or widgets in St. Louis, or different things of that sort. So there's a lot of different things that people could type in to find you. So it's important to realize that everybody's unique. Everybody's going to have a little bit of a different spin on what they're typing into the search engines to find you. So first thing I want to do is we're going to go SERPing, as I said earlier. SERP, S-E-R-P, means search engine result page. It's basically when you type in any sort of phrase into Google, Yahoo, Bing, Ask AOL. When you type something in there, the page that comes back is called a SERP, or a search engine result page. Normally that page has 10 organic results, might have a map as we see here. So I'll dissect those in just a second. In this case, I typed in commercial cleaning supplies. As you can see, there are around 976,000 results for that particular phrase. We got a couple different things going on here, so we're going to diagnose this a little bit. If we look at the anatomy of each of these, we have a lot of stuff going on. The first thing at the top of the page, right after my results, is the pay-per-click ads. So these are people using Google AdWords in this case, since I'm on Google's page. These are people that are actually paying to be at the top of this particular page. And actually on the lower right, you'll actually see some more pay-per-click ads. So a great way to get immediate exposure, immediate traffic on your site. Sometimes it's not cheap. You're basically paying for that traffic. So every time somebody clicks on one of those particular ads, that company is actually paying for that person to visit the website. Whether they purchase anything or not, they're paying for it. Over to the right, we have local search, which is basically a map. Anytime that the search engines think that you have a local related intent, or you're searching for something locally, such as a bank or a plumber, what they're starting to really try to do now is integrate these local search results for you, so that you can find whatever it is you're looking for locally. And at the bottom left, you'll also see the little placement markers there that shows a little bit more information about what's on the map. In the middle, we have something called universal search. These are also called organic rankings, and this is where your search engine optimization really kind of shows up. It's called universal search because now they're starting to integrate other things such as Twitter feeds, video results, things of that sort, in the mixture of all these organic results. But all of this stuff leads to, still keyword related. Even if you do the pay-per-click ads, the first thing they ask you is what keywords do you want your ad to show up for when somebody types it in. So everything is built on keywords here. Larry Page, one of the founders of Google, says the perfect search engine would understand exactly what you mean and give back exactly what you want. Now, there is no perfect search engine yet. They're really working on it. They're really doing a great job of providing the results that you look for. But everybody's gone to Google and typed something in and rattled their head a little bit and said, that's not exactly what I'm looking for, and retyped it until you finally found what you wanted. So there's definitely still some work to be done, but they're on the right track. So in order to get your keywords, you're going to have to be a detective, such as Brainy Smurf here. You're going to have to do a little work to find out what keywords, what people are typing in to find you in the first place. And that's what we're going to go through a little bit today. First thing I want to mention is intent. There are definitely some different search results that come up depending on how the person is searching for you. Are they searching to purchase something? Are they searching specifically just to learn, or something about more information? Not everybody online is searching to purchase something. So it's important to, as you do get a list of keywords, to remember that you need to throw the human element of intent in there as well. So in this case, we have two different key phrases that are pretty close to each other. We have restaurant first aid kit contents and restaurant first aid kit supplier. So if somebody's typing in restaurant first aid kit contents, chances are they're looking more for information. They're looking to build their own kit, or they're trying to find out what's in an actual restaurant first aid kit. Not necessarily a purchase-related search. So it's still good to build information on your website around that sort of thing, and build an article or a blog post that says a complete list of restaurant first aid contents. That way you rank for that particular phrase. You're the one providing that information. And then, oh, by the way, we actually do sell these particular items if you're interested. Even if they don't purchase from you, just the fact that they read the article gets you a nice branding opportunity for when they do come back later to actually purchase those sort of contents. In keyword phrase 2, we have restaurant first aid kit supplier. Now the intent, very different than the first one. In this case, they're looking probably to purchase some first aid kits, and they're looking for a supplier, somebody that sells these. So in that case, you would definitely want to direct that particular keyword phrase towards a sales page. Here's one: restaurant first aid kit supplier, my janitorial company. So if you had a janitorial company, you would put your name there, and really kind of put them into a immediate purchase mode, show products, that sort of thing. So it's definitely important to understand the difference in intent when you do start doing your keyword research and you get a nice list of keywords back. Here's the keyword tools we were talking about. There's a lot of them out there. These are just a few. SEMrush, SpyFu, Keyword Discovery, Google AdWords, Word Tracker, SEO Book. A lot of different tools out there, and this is just a very small list of them. You can just go to any search engine and type in keyword tool, and you'll come back with a nice list of them. Most of them are free. The one we're going to look at today is Google AdWords. Here is Google's free keyword tool. The address is at the bottom, and you'll get a copy of this webinar, so no need to scroll that down really fast. But this is their free keyword tool, and the reason that they offer this particular tool for free is for the simple fact that they want you to purchase pay-per-click ads. So they'll show you how many times this particular word is searched, as we'll see in a minute here, how many times, how much traffic you can get to your website from it, all in hopes that you will purchase some AdWords related to that. But we can use it for free simply to do some keyword research around your business. So in the middle here we have find keywords that basically they're just asking for a list of seed keywords, or what are some keywords related to your business that you can put in here to start your keyword research. Many web designers, when you get a website built, they may have asked you for a list of 15, 20, or 30 different keywords related to your industry, and they probably plug those into an old meta keyword tag that isn't used anymore. Chances are most business owners have a list of seed keywords, if not written down on paper, at least in their head. You kind of have an idea what people are searching for, generically overall. So put those keywords in there, and then down below that it always asks you for some sort of CAPTCHA or type these words in there. Once you do that, just hit the search button and it will spit back a nice list of words related to whatever you typed in. Gives you the amount of competition for that particular phrase, how many global searches are done. Global means, of course, global or through the entire world, and then local actually means searches done in the U.S. in the last 30 days. So these are different results depending on what things you're looking for. But there's lots of different amounts of searches out there, a lot of different phrases, and this is just a small chunk of them. You'll see up in the upper left there, it shows that they give you 100 results. This is if you're using the free tool. If you actually sign in to Google AdWords and set up an account, they'll actually give you closer to 800 to 1,000 keyword ideas, competition, how many searches are done each month. But if you're just using the tool as a free service, they'll only give you 100 at a time. It's important for us to talk a little bit about the long tail of search. We've talked a little bit about it already, but maybe you don't realize the difference between things. So we were talking about your seed list of things. So if you're selling restaurant first aid kits, the first thing you might think of that people would look up is first aid. Well, that makes perfect sense. People would certainly look that up. The problem is ranking for something like first aid, which is basically a nationwide term. It's not geo-targeted or anything of that sort. It's going to have a lot of cost or a lot of work involved to rank for the word first aid and a lot of competition. If we looked at something like restaurant first aid kit, now we're talking, a little bit longer phrase, a little bit less cost to maybe rank for that. Still a lot of work. Conversion, on the other hand, is still somewhat low. And then if we add the word prices to the end of that, or restaurant first aid kit prices, now we're going to have a lower amount of people searching for that each month, but the probability of that converting, or those particular searches converting to actual customers, is fairly high, because they are looking specifically for pricing for a restaurant first aid kit. So they're already in the intent mode of purchasing, and the longer keyword, the more descriptive the phrase, the less amount of competition there is, and the more probability or higher probability of conversion there is related to that. So it's always good to understand that the long tail or the longer phrases, the more descriptive phrases, is to put it bluntly, that's where the money's at, in these longer phrases. Another way to look at this is the amount of keywords that a particular company may have in their overall search traffic. So it's always interesting to see that the top 100 keywords that you think are the most important, that's actually a pretty small amount of your overall search traffic. But if we start looking at the top 10,000 or what's called the long tail, you're starting to get a ton of traffic from these longer phrases that are very specific and what I would consider in most cases to be warm leads. So it's important not to just focus on these short keywords like first aid, but really hone your efforts in towards these longer tail keywords. So back to our results that we had. What we need to find in here is these nuggets, or these really important ones that have a decent amount of searches per month, but not a lot of competition. That would be considered somewhat of a long tail phrase. So in this case, I have one circled here for custodial services. Not a lot of competition. In the U.S., it's searched 5,400 times in the last 30 days. So that's a nice phrase that you could probably target, build a web page around the word custodial services, and you'd probably do pretty well ranking for that in somewhat short order. So you want to look through your list for these particular kind of phrases. Not all of them that say low competition are going to be nuggets, because they might also have a low search volume. So the trick is to find ones that have somewhat low competition but a really nice amount of overall search volume. Those are the ones that nobody's targeting, and what we call in the industry low-hanging fruit, or fairly easy to rank for, build a web page around, and start really starting to grab some of that traffic and hopefully convert them into purchasers or customers or clients. When you're doing your keyword research with the Google AdWords tool, you really should kind of hone your searches down by area. And by that I mean, if you're a janitorial service company, don't type in janitorial services and mops and cleaning supplies and different terms related to your industry. Kind of keep it towards one specific search and build a keyword list around that specific area or portion of what you do. So in this case, I'm building keywords around chemicals, cleaning supplies, or organic cleaners. I may go back and build a different keyword list around trash removal or trash services, or janitorial services, things of that industry, that part of your industry. So it's important to always build a keyword list for each different area, and honestly, each different web page on your site should have its own kind of keyword target or keyword phrase target. The other thing you can do is you can get keywords specifically by a specific website. So you can plug your website in here and see what keywords Google already thinks that you are trying to rank for. Now, in this case, I would actually probably use some of the competitors, whoever's ranking very well for that specific domain or that specific keyword phrase. I would put their website in there and see what sort of keywords come back. So, what you could do is if you're looking up janitorial supplies, go to Google, type that in, see who the companies that are coming up at the top in the organic rankings, not in the pay-per-click. In the organic rankings, see who's coming up there, and then come back to the AdWords tool and plug that website into the AdWords tool and get a list of keywords that they're potentially ranking for. So kind of a different way to build a list, and at least a nice way to build a keyword foundation list that you can kind of hone down for your own efforts later. So that's a pretty cool little thing that they offer. So you can only do one or the other. You can either put the words and phrases in there, or you can put a website in there and hit the search button. Did want to kind of mention analytics. A lot of people that contact me for keyword research, a lot of those people always send me their analytics and some sort of report and say, hey, here's our analytics report. Here's what people have typed in to find us in the last 30 days or the last 60 days. And in all honesty, your analytics report, when you're doing keyword research, I would tend to stay away from your analytics and not let that affect you too much. The reason is you're building a keyword list of things that you're probably not ranking for yet. So to look at your analytics and see what you're already somewhat ranking for is going to kind of cloud your efforts a little bit. I would maybe look at your analytics after you've done your initial round of keyword research, built a nice list of keywords overall, then go into your analytics and see what other phrases might I be ranking for that I can do a little more link building around. But it's kind of two separate worlds. What you're already ranking for, there's no reason to do keyword research around those words if you're already at the top. So I definitely would look at the analytics, but I wouldn't make it a top priority to do right away. Once you get all your once you get your keywords and inside the analytics tool, there's actually a download button, and you can download in the case of the AdWords tool into a CSV or a comma separated values file, which you can open with Microsoft Excel, and so you can download those to your local computer. So it's not something that you have to do online immediately while you're there. If you put a nice list of keywords in, you can download that, and if you've got a small staff, you can look at those keywords together and decide which ones are good, which ones are bad. Pull those down and save them, and then go back and do your next area search and pull those down as well, so you can build multiple lists or even just multiple spreadsheets inside one spreadsheet file. As you finalize your keyword list, it's important to remember some of these factors, such as the amount of search volume overall needs to be, somewhat significant. I wouldn't say high. I mean, even if something is searched for 310 times per month, that's still 10 people a day that are searching for whatever that particular phrase is. So if you'd like to rank for something that 10 people a day are looking for, that's 10 more visitors per day possible to your website if you're the #1 ranking for that. So definitely important. Relevancy, how relevant is this particular keyword actually to your industry? Is it something that people are actually going to click on and land on your web page and not click the back button right away? So you don't want to build web pages that are not specifically relevant to what you do, or kind of attracting the wrong audience. If you've got a certain target group of people that you're trying to market to, make sure that it's relevant to that particular group. Competition, we've talked about. How much competition is there overall? If there's a lot of competition for it, it might be something you put in the I would like to rank for this list, but at the same time, look for those that have less competition, less search results, and kind of start honing your efforts on those. Keywords your site already is ranking for, we've talked about those. If your site's already ranking for it, I would certainly do a little bit of link building, things like that, to kind of bolster those and keep those at the top. But if you're already ranking for those, then not necessarily something you need to focus on right away. However, keywords that your competitors are ranking for, those are the ones that we definitely want to start to go after and see, find out a little more information about just what they're ranking for. Once you have a nice list of keywords, you want to build some content around that particular keyword. So in this case, here's a website for wholesale janitorial supply. As you can see, they've definitely built this particular page around the word janitorial supply. You see it highlighted several places throughout this particular page, and it's in their title tag, it's in their heading, it's filtered throughout the page, or sprinkled might be a better word, throughout the overall page. So if somebody were typing in janitorial supply and they came to this particular page, this is why they came to this page, because the word is sprinkled, it's in the right places. As we talked about in the beginning, those on-page things that they have done here, they've done quite well, and they've ranked very well for it. There's a search button, there's search by manufacturer, click here to check out our products. They're already in sales mode and ready to roll. As I said, add all the right ingredients. Put these, when you start to build these particular pages, add that keyword or that specific keyword to the title tag, the meta description, the heading tags or the H1, H2 tags. You can also put them in your alt text, and the alt text is is it goes behind images. It's an alternative explanation of what that image is about. So great place to sprinkle some more keywords in there. I wouldn't go overboard with that, but if it's a picture of a janitorial supply truck, in the case of the screen we saw before, that would be a good alt text explanation or description. And also in any links that you build internally to other pages on your site, you want to actually put the keyword as the link to those other pages. As we saw here over on the bottom left with janitorial supply, chemicals and janitorial supply, if somebody clicks on that, they actually takes them to that specific page. So the keywords are actually in the link itself. Big thing here, don't be this guy. Don't overdo it. Don't think that there's that if I say sprinkle the words throughout your page, that also means put them everywhere on the page. Definitely don't overdo it. And we talked earlier on about keyword density. You want to keep your overall keyword density, or the amount of times your keyword shows up in the total copy of that page, somewhere around 4 to 6% of the overall copy should actually be your keyword. So it's not a huge amount, but it's enough of a repetitive term that the search engines take notice. If it's more than 6-8% of your overall copy on that page, the page is going to look a little spammy, and the search engines are actually going to kind of back away from it. So don't overdo it. Once you've done all your keyword research for a specific area, such as janitorial supply or chemical supplies, then as we see here, research, rinse, repeat. Go back and start over and do another portion of your industry or another one of your services. If you offer services, start with one service and then go to the next. What are people typing in order to find this particular service, or even this particular product? And build a whole nother keyword research list and build pages around those particular items, and just rinse and repeat. So let's talk a little bit about some fun keyword ideas, or different ways besides just the normal tools. Some other places where you can find some really good keyword information. One of those is Google Instant. Google Instant is something that came on a while back, and basically as you start to type something into Google, they start suggesting other ideas or other things that people have typed in the past. And nice way to kind of start typing some of your keywords in there and see what else pop up. Great way for to build a list of intent related items usually. And this is something you can turn on and off. Actually, if you see to the right of the search button there, it says Instant is on, and you can turn that on and off right there. Google Trends. This is at trends.google.com, and these are trends or things that are going on right now. Today's hot trends. These are things that people are searching for right now. But even if you're not interested in what's popular at the moment, you can still type in any sort of keyword into trends, and it will show you over the last couple of years how many times that particular thing has been typed in, if it gained popularity in a certain time. It'll actually show you by city or by region who types these particular phrases in the most. So you can actually kind of hone your efforts down even further and say, I'm looking for keywords that people in St. Louis type in a lot more than people may type in Sacramento. Pretty cool tool here. You can also type in 2 or 3 different search terms, separating them with a comma, and it will map each one of those in the amount of searches, how popular they've been. It will show you news articles that came out related to those. If there was an event that happened related to the specific keyword you're typing in, what that event was, how that keyword suddenly became popular. Some really cool ideas that can really come out of Google Trends. And this is a free thing from Google. Yahoo Suggest also has something similar to the Google Instant. It's actually been around a lot longer than Google Instant has. So if you type in something such as Daytona 500, they'll come back with their list of results, and they'll also come back with a list of other things that people have typed in to find related searches. So over on the left, you'll see Daytona 500 winner, Daytona 500 2008, 2009, and then over on the right, they'll also give you some other things: Daytona Bike Week, NASCAR schedule, Daytona Speedway, different things that people could still type in to try to find information about, in this case, the Daytona 500. So a lot of different ways to find keywords, and not always, such as the NASCAR schedule, that don't even have the word Daytona in it, yet people typing the word NASCAR schedule in may be interested in, if you're the owner of the Daytona racetrack, they still may be very interested in what you have. SEMrush is at semrush.com. This is a really cool tool, and kind of like the Google AdWords tool, where you could type somebody else's website in and get a little information about them. SEMrush takes that a little bit further, where they will actually tell you what keywords they are ranking for, what keywords they're targeting in their pay-per-click ads. So if you find a competitor that is running pay-per-click, they'll actually tell you what keywords they are targeting in their pay-per-click ads, which is pretty cool information. So those are obviously words that they consider to be very important in their overall internet marketing strategy. SEMrush.com, I think they give you free like 10 searches per day, and you can also sign up for some of their accounts. I want to say it's around $49 a month, but just for keyword research purposes, it's a great tool to plug in some of your competitors and see just exactly what they're up to, how much search traffic they're getting from different keywords. Some really cool stuff in there. If you do all of your keyword research correctly, just as the picture shows, your traffic will continue to rise. Hopefully you'll make more money. You'll be able to convert those people into more customers, clients, service, whatever it is that you do. And as long as you just, follow the things that we've talked about today, you will definitely be on the right track. Okay. Got a couple minutes left for some questions, and I see that people have been typing them over in the right. So I'm going to go to the first one here from Ken, and his question is, how do you actually determine intent of a search? It's almost just common sense. If somebody's typing in something related to a particular product, then it's very high, it's more likely that they are searching to purchase something. If they're looking for, in our case, they're looking for a list of something, or they're looking for a remedy for a cold or something like that, well, they're just looking for information. But if they're looking for Band-Aids, or a specific cold medicine, then there's more of an intent there to purchase that. So it boils down to mostly common sense, when you look at the keyword, to see which way that's probably going to go. Okay, Susan, should I build content for every page on my website around each keyword? Well, short answer is yes. In reality, you should build a page on your website for all the different keyword phrases you want to rank for. So each page on your website should be its own keyword related page. So what happens is if you build a page around restaurant first aid kit supplies, then what's going to happen is somebody's going to type that into the search engines. If you rank, number 1, 2, or 3 for that, that person's going to click on that and land on that specific page on your website, which provides them with the exact information they were looking for. It's important to understand that not everybody is going to land on your home page. I think that's a big misconception in internet marketing when you get started, is that not everybody's going to land on your home page. Everybody, you want people to land on that specific page about that specific term, because you're immediately providing them the information. If they land on your home page, then they have to go search for that specific service or product, and that's not really what we want, because people are finicky online and they're not going to click 3 or 4 or 5 times to try to find something unless they're really rabid about getting that product from you. So yes, you want to build pages specifically for the keywords that you're targeting, so they land specifically on those pages and are immediately into your funnel, whether it's a sales funnel or a some sort of call to action funnel. And if you have pages built around that specific phrase, I should also mention that it should turn into part of your link building strategy to build links around the web, as I mentioned in the off-page SEO, and I do webinars on link building as well. So that should become part of your link building strategy once you have that specific page built, to kind of get it up towards the top of the rankings. Okay. Anwar is asking about keywords in the footer. I see this a lot on web pages where web designer or a business owner that built their own page will say, well, I got this list of keywords, I'm going to just stick it down here in the footer, or at the bottom of my page, and I'll put 20 or 30 or 50 of them in there, and I'll rank pretty well for all of those phrases. No, that's not a smart strategy. I also have other business owners who say, can I put them at the bottom of the page in a white font with a white background so nobody will even see them? Well, search engines are smart enough to know that they know what you're up to. They're reading the code or the HTML on your page. They're not actually reading the page as a human would see it. They're reading simply the HTML behind the scenes. So they're going to see all these keywords stuffed in there. They're going to see that you're trying to match the font color with the background color, and it's going to end up hurting you because they're going to consider your page to be a spammy type web page, and they don't want to rank those sort of pages. So it's better to, as Susan asked earlier, to build a page specifically for each keyword, rank that keyword, put it into your heading, put it into your title, and build some links back to that specific page for that specific keyword or key phrase. Okay, one more question. Dan says, how many keywords should I target? Terrific question. Not an easy answer. It's nice to build a list of, let's say 100. Build a list of 100 different keywords you'd like to rank for, or even 40, and start building pages, building links back for those specific words. But realize that there's really an infinite amount of things that people could type in to find you. There's, as we saw in that everyone is unique page, everyone is going to type in something a little different to find you. So over time, your keyword list, in reality, it could be 10,000, it could be 100,000 words or phrases that people are typing in to find you. And once you start to rank for those 20 or 40 that you started out with, and you start ranking well for those, then you could bolt on another 20 or 40 and start ranking for those. And what you're going to find out is, even as you're building these pages and ranking for these, you're using industry-related terms in your copy for each page as you write it, and you're going to start ranking for other things that you didn't even think of. So, good time to go back and look at your analytics and see how many different long tail phrases you're starting to rank for, and pull those into your overall keyword strategy at that time, and really start building quite a monster list of keywords and key phrases all bringing traffic. Even if one phrase only brings 1 or 2 visitors a month, if it's highly targeted, if it's a very warm lead, and it's probably a high probability of converting, it's worth the time to build it. Because you build that one and you have that 1 visitor a month, then you build another one, you have another visitor, soon you have 30 of those. That's 1 conversion per day. Then that list turns into 60 and 90 and 120. Pretty soon your conversions are just going up and up and up, all from these different long tail searches. So how many keywords should you target? Start with a comfortable list and just keep building it and building it. And if it's, as a business owner, sometimes we can't handle all that. It might be good time to consider, hiring a company to do an SEO campaign for you, or do some things for you, so that you can actually run your business, which is always, the reason you got into business in the first place. It wasn't to do all the marketing stuff. So thank you for your questions today. Thank you for attending the webinar. Here's a little information about myself. My website is whereismybusiness.com. This is the phone line. Email address, you can email me anytime you want, or if you're on Twitter, I'm at whereismybiz. Feel free to look me up, and if you have any questions or anything about the webinar, anything else that you want to discuss, feel free to shoot me a message on Twitter. Thank you very much for attending today's webinar.